Hello, Libra. Welcome to your June soul session. I am Princess India. If you're new and if you're family, welcome back, my friend. And what's not, or whatever. So, anywho, we're going to go ahead and jump into you guys' cards. First, we're going to be looking at an overall energy as well as a challenge. And then we're going to be getting into a more specific spread and what's not, or whatever. So, I hope you are doing well, Libra. And I hope these cards don't take forever to come out. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wait. No. Hold on. How's your mom and them? I don't know why this has been happening. Like for every sign prior to you guys, it's like two cards that come out straight out the gate. So let's go ahead and pick these cards for your more specific spread. And let's hop right in. Dag nabbit, son of a gun. Okay, so our first card out, which is your overall energy. We are stalked by freaking court cards. We have the King of Pentacles. And this is challenged by the Lovers in the reverse. That is Gemini energy. Child, so look, now I need to clarify this. This keeps happening. There's so many freaking court cards that keep coming out. So I'll do what I do every single time. First thing I say that comes to me with this King of Pentacles, Libra, this could be representative of you guys. Okay, sorry for shuffling in your ear. This could be representative of you guys. In the event that it is, it would be saying to me that you guys, I just heard mastered your craft. Okay, sure, let's go with that. So you guys may have mastered your craft. You guys are in a good place financially. You guys are also in a place to where you quite possibly could be a caretaker for others. Not necessarily a caretaker like somebody sickly. I mean, this could literally be a friend or a partner. It could be a sibling. But I feel like you guys are kind of like the go-to person and the resource person for everyone in your life. But this is going to be specifically highlighted in the month of June. So say hypothetically, if you guys have gotten your finances together, then every single person that you love and care about that has money problems will suddenly be asking you for money. You know, if you finally got to a good place of, you know, self-esteem, security, and stability, you finally got your little workout program going, a lot of people are going to be coming to you, you know, for tips and help and direction on how to get where it is that you guys are. Now, the other thing I hear with this is that's interesting is with the Lovers in the reverse, the thing that I heard was codependency. I might have to check my notes, but I don't think I have ever heard codependency with the Lovers, but I get it. It makes sense because, of course, with the Lovers, you know, most of the times we look at a hit or heart decision, but looking at it in a deeper context, it's an imbalance between, you know, your emotional mind. And I've been saying that a lot this month. There's an imbalance between your emotional mind and your logic mind. And it's more or less putting more weight on one over the other. You know what I'm saying? So it's, and this is a corny example, but it's kind of like, you know, being helplessly in love with someone, right? But not using your logic to see that they're a horrible person. Or it's, you know, feeling a connection with a person, but saying practically and logically, this doesn't make sense. So you won't even bother trying it. You feel what I'm saying? And whenever things are off balance, we end up overcompensating in one way or another. So this would be like a love substitute, as I call it. You know what I'm saying? Codependency in essence would be a love substitute because it's not a balanced, you know, reciprocal version of love. You know what I'm saying? It's more or less a connection with a person that's very need based. You know what I'm saying? But it's something that's masquerading as love. It looks like, you know, you really care. It looks like you're really invested. Ooh, child. So that gives me a whole narrative here. So speaking of this specifically, especially with you guys, if you're showing up as this King of Pentacles energy, then this would be saying to me a person who needs to be needed. So this would be like a person, how I was saying, everyone coming to you for help. With this being the overall energy, that would be the issue that is being highlighted this month. And what it is, it would behoove Libra to work on this month is the fact that there's some sort of gratification. There's some sense of gratification or fulfillment that one gets out of fixing people or helping people, being the go-to person, being the person that loans everyone money, being the person who, is giving people, workout tips, almost being like a glorified life coach or something in your friend group or something. And that would be being highlighted. My assumption would be because you're being offered an opportunity this month to come out of agreement with that, which with the lovers in the reverse being your challenge, your opportunity would be to turn the lovers upright so that you can kind of transcend this timeline and be more in alignment via balance between this mental and emotional aspect and not leaning to one side or the other, so that you're showing up as your full self and you're drawing a complement to your full self in your life in whatever aspect that we're speaking about. So this could be in your romantic life. This could be in your friendships. This could be in, your professional life or what have you. That's interesting. Child, look, my guys done learned me something new today. That's very fascinating. I can clearly see that. And something I can say too, the King of Pentacles is representative of Taurus. And as a Taurus, your Venetian brethren and sisterin, I can tell you legit, ooh, child, that would make sense. Okay. But I can tell you as a Taurus that this is one of the faults that that Taurus has a tendency to fall into. It's like, the strong friend complex. You know what I'm saying? And who is that I did before you guys? Leo. If you have that in your chart, check. Because with Leo, I was speaking about something similar to where what it is that they're presenting to the external world, like kind of suffering in silence and keeping it all together for other people. So, even if you don't have it in your chart, if that resonates with you, that may be that reading may be helpful for you. But anyway, so that's what I'm seeing overall. So that's everything it is that you guys are going to encounter in the month of June is going to somehow correlate around this, how it is that you guys are showing up and how it is that you're relating to other people. Of course, my computer would do the thing. Of course it would. Hold on, Leo. Let me fix my janky computer. Why is my computer so whack? Just all broken stuff. You give me a GoFundMe so I can get me a new computer. Come on, computer. Don't be a jerk. Hold on, Libra. My apologies. My computer is ghetto. My computer is ghetto. I want to leave. Really? For real? That's what we're doing? I apologize, Libra. Sorry about that, Libra. I'm so sick of this computer. I'm pretty sure that you guys are sick of it too. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, so the whole thing that I'm saying with this is I feel like this is a pretty clear depiction of a very specific Libra person that would resonate with this. You know what I'm saying? It's getting your needs met by showing up in a way. And I know I said like a need to be needed, but I don't necessarily feel in transit that we ever feel that way, whether you're a Libra or not, even if you're cross watching. Shout out to you, cross watcher. But it's a thing where you may not necessarily see it that way. You just may see yourself as a helpful person. But I feel like if you're kind of on the fence about that, it would be a good time to kind of self-reflect, kind of soul search a little bit, kind of look at your patterns of behavior. But I'm pretty sure that those of you who resonate with this, you're thinking like, it's people pleasing. It's like, I have a tendency to do that. You may not think so deep into it of like, oh, my worth and value comes from, people always looking to me for stuff and me being able to give answers. You may not look at it like that, but if that resonates with you, I'd take some time to kind of reflect on that. Now, I want to clarify this to see if we are speaking about, okay, a specific person. Oh, child. So we have prison. So, I mean, it could be a person. Like, if it is a person for me, I would say either a Gemini person or a Taurus person or a person with Taurus and Gemini in their chart, child. But what I see with this is if this is a person, and it doesn't have to be romantic, it could be friendship, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying, or an earth sign person. But it could be friendship, it could be a family member, anything like that. But what your relation to this person would be, this would be either an unhealthy or a toxic relationship, hence, you know, the whole codependency thing that I described. And this would also be speaking to, if this is just speaking to you, of being caught in a self-destructive pattern or a pattern that no longer serves you, which is also like what codependency would be. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it's a love substitute. So all of the things that, and I don't mean just romantic love, like even brotherly love too, but this could end up, well, with it being a love substitute, it's not actual love. So everything that it contributes to your life is not going to be all the good things that love can bring into your life. So it's always going to kind of come with a catch. You know what I mean? There's always going to be something about it that's taking away from you. It can be like it's almost like the equivalent of like eating McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're hungry, you eat McDonald's, and, you know, you're full for the moment, but it's like within, you know, the next 45 minutes to an hour, you're going to be hungry again. It's not anything that like sticks to your ribs, you know? So it's like a temporary relief from, you know, the desire or the thirst or the proverbial hunger, if you will. And you're going to have to keep going back to it to get more and more, you know, unless you eat something that's, you know, full of protein and is really going to stick to your ribs. I hope that makes sense. But anywho, let's get into you guys more specific spread. So your central energy, we have representing you all, we have the 10 of Pentacles and the reverse, your past influence. Okay, we have the Ace of Cuppies in the reverse. I feel like I see where this is going. Your hidden influence is the 10 of Cuppies. Fascinating. And your potential outcome is the 3 of Wands. And what to look out for moving forward, we have the 8 of Cuppies in the reverse. This is interesting, Libra. So what it is looking like, Libra, coming from the latter part of May into June, with the Ace of Cups in reverse, there's more or less something, well, I'm going to say this a couple of ways. There's more or less something that didn't pan out the way that you hoped, or you're just flat out feeling emotionally unfulfilled. And this really goes back to like that codependence energy that I was saying. It's more or less that what it is that you're giving out, it's kind of like giving out until your cup is like bone dry, and you're not really feeling like what you're putting time, energy, and effort into is fulfilling you. And I could even say this in the context of if you're heavily fixated on success or money or, you know, material things, whatever the case, or even your own personal development, if you're hella focused on working out or whatever, there isn't a reciprocity there. So going back to what I was saying with the lovers, when we're talking about, you know, emotional mind, we're talking about rational mind, or we're talking about masculine energy, which is action oriented and things of the sort, or feminine energy, which is, you know, receptivity and like inner world and things of the sort. So external world versus inner world, there's some sense of imbalance that's happening here that's leaving you unfulfilled. So even though you may have the stuff and the things, or even though you have people that are coming to you constantly, right, for stuff and things, it's like you're not feeling fulfilled on a heart level, right? And that leads me, and another thing I could say with this too, is it speaks to unfinished business and an emotional block. So something, you know, that hurt you past tense. And I would see this in the context of almost like being triggered maybe, or at the latter part of May, you just kind of feel in a way, and not just like for a day, I mean like in May, and specifically the latter part of May, you just feeling away. And it could be manifested as like emotional unfulfillment, or you just, simply put, could have just been sad and not really known why. But I feel the root cause of that is some sense of an emotional block or an unfulfillment. I see that even more so in this 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, because like I said, you guys are showing up as the King of Pentacles, and the energy that's representing not showing up as the King of, oh wait a minute, hold on, my bad, Libra, my kid walked in again, and I've been telling every sign I need to accept the fact that it is summertime, and the fact that my kid is a very social teenager, that he is going to just be popping in. But anywho, but with this 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, that really kind of co-signs this Ace of Cups in the reverse, because the energy is here, of course, for the 10 of Pentacles, but it's reversed. So that means that it is blocked in so many words. And that's what I was saying. I was saying, you guys, I didn't mean to say you guys are showing up with your overall energy being the King of Pentacles. That's more or less the energy that's hovering over you guys. But it's the fact that everything is very fixated in the earthly realm, and on materialistic things, are just like the physical body in so many words. And our Lovers in the reverse is speaking about this imbalance. So with this 10 of Pentacles in the reverse being here, it's in a sense you have reached a certain level to where stuff is copacetic, or you know what I mean, like you have stuff and things, and I'll say it this way, that people on the outside looking in would see as fulfillment. However, with this Ace of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, there's a level of unfulfillment or instability here. So the things that you're in possession of, or what it is you've achieved or accomplished, it's not doing it for you. If we put this in the context of, like I was saying with the codependency, this is, you have the stuff or things or resources or what have you that you can share with other people, but it's just not doing for you in a way to where you're 10 of Pentacles upright. So in a way that you're completely fulfilled and feel as if you have that stability and that security. Now, something I can tell you in a sense, when we're in kind of codependent situations or kind of transactional situations, we don't have that sense of security and stability, because we know or believe or perceive that a person's relation to us is based on what it is that we can do for them, or what it is that we can contribute to that person, friendship, relationship, what have you, right? So a lot of times the fear of individuals who are in such situations are, if I ever got sick, or if I ever went broke, you know what I mean? Or if I wasn't able to show up for this person the way that I always do, they would probably, abandon me, or they would not be there for me. You know what I mean? And that is, a half-hearted kind of commitment, or half-hearted kind of relationship. And this can be very prevalent a lot of times. I was actually talking to a coworker about this. This can be very prevalent in companies a lot of times, where, if an employee feels disposable, you know what I mean? Like if you're working for a company and you feel like your employer really doesn't care, because if you were to quit today or tomorrow, they would just put another butt in your seat. You know what I mean? That would be another example of how, this kind of unbalanced kind of connection would be. But I feel the beautiful thing about this is, Libra, is the fact that this information, we'll say it that way, the fact that this information is coming to the forefront. And I feel like this has kind of been rising up, like I was saying, since May. So if you guys have been feeling away and not really knowing, you've been feeling kind of down in the dumps, that's why, you've been feeling away, because it's kind of trying to show you something. It's showing you that how it is that you've been showing up, or the way that you've been relating to things or people, is almost in a fractured sense, or a half light. But this is the byproduct of a mental prison. It's more or less like a behavioral pattern that you've had, or like a mindset that you've had, or a collection of ineffective behaviors you've been engaging in for an extended period. But the light side of this, I see in you guys' hidden influence as well as your outcome, with your hidden influence being the 10 of Cups. that says to me that Libra in so many ways has been satiating a true desire, for emotional fulfillment with physical or financial fulfillment. Oh, child, that's a word. Oh, okay. Shout out to my guy, child. Okay. Damn. Damn. Okay. Give me a minute on that one. Whew. All right. This gonna snatch somebody wig, child. Ain't gonna be mine. I ain't got Libra on my chart. All right. So here's the thing. For some of you guys, this is speaking about like sexual relationships. And so this would be like hookup culture-esque, right? So this would be like a person who's telling themselves like, oh, I don't want anything serious or something like that. You know what I mean? And it's like just having sex with people and having sex with people like not within the confines of a relationship, but y'all are young people. Got me over here sounding like an old fart. But like hookup culture where people just have casual sexual encounters with people, but there's not really any, it's like no strings attached type of deal. So the whole narrative I'm getting with this would be like a person who engages in, casual sexual encounters. And I mean, it could be with one person or, multiple people, right? But they're you're like, oh, I don't have time for a relationship, whatever the explanation is. But deep down inside, and this is a subconscious influence, mind you, with this 10 of Cups, what you're really wanting is a committed relationship, potentially marriage, kids, house, white picket fence, all the things, right? But with this 10 of Pentacles, what's being highlighted is how it's like you're showing up, getting into connections that are solely based on physicality. But coming in like in May, there's an emotional disappointment in relation to situations such as this, right? So this could be, getting your feelings hurt or whatever, or worst case scenario, which is a situation I've heard of many, many times of like, a woman being in a sexual relationship with a dude, and then all of a sudden you go on social media and see that the guy freaking got married over the weekend. You know what I'm saying? And being kind of hurt with something like that. You know what I mean? So the whole thing is it's kind of coming to a truth in the month of June, and like kind of confronting yourself and confronting your Judas in the mirror of accepting that what it is that you've been partaking in and engaging in isn't really what it is that you want. And I see that even more so in this 8 of Cups in the reverse, because in the 8 of Cups in the reverse, it's speaking very much to unresolved emotions. It's avoidance behaviors. You know what I mean? How I talked about, I think that was in May. It was either April or May. And I was talking to your Venetian brother and sister in Taurus about this. And I actually wrote a piece about it. It's still on my community tab if you want to read it. But I was talking about the best way out is through, right? And or what I say with the 7 of Swords, a lot of times, what you skip will trip you up later. It's the fact that a lot of times in life, we don't want to go through. So we find dysfunctional ways on either side of our proverbial Likert scale to try to sidestep going through, because through is literally the middle path, right? That's how we gain all of our wisdom. That's how we, end cycles. That's how we transcend other timelines and things of the sort. But when we don't want to go through, we end up in 8 of Cups energy where we're continuously repeating the same cycle and meeting, the same person in a different body, meeting the same boss in a different body. You know what I'm saying? Meet parental figures and bosses, friends, romantic partners. You know what I'm saying? So with all of this, it's highlighting an emotional pattern. And I really feel it's devoid of emotion. It's more or less, it's unbalanced energy. It's operating more in a masculine energy, and not saying that in the context of like social commentary masculine energy, but in the context of being very superficial, very 3D oriented, devoid of spirituality, devoid of emotions. It's just very much logic, mind, sensory consciousness, if you will, that's not taking other facets into account. And I even say, in a sense, emotions can even masquerade sometimes in our rational logic mind, because emotions are affected by our thoughts and vice versa. So there's a need to differentiate the two, which is what the lover's card speaks about, and how I've been talking about this entire month, about like wise mind, like emotional mind, logic mind, wise mind. Wise mind overstands emotional mind and logic mind, but they're all working in accordance because each facet is important. You feel what I'm saying? But with all of this, so this is just a little side message. This would be speaking to a person in a situation like that. And the truth is, at the root of it, with this 10 of Cups, your desire is for emotional fulfillment, but the pathway that one is taking is the antithesis of that. You know what I'm saying? And that's when it becomes a thing of self-sabotage, or like this clarifying card being the prison. It's, I'm wanting something, but the thing that I'm wanting, I'm not getting. Going back to the thing with codependency and being like the helper person, that's the same thing. What you're really wanting is reciprocity. Or I stand corrected. My God, there's on one today. Huh? Okay. I said reciprocity, but they said connection. I stand corrected. Okay. They said what you really want is connection, right? But the thought of getting that connection, the method in which you're trying to obtain it, is by showing up for people, letting people borrow money. When, somebody's not crying at 4 a.m., you picking up the phone and you're listening to them. You picking people up from work, dropping people off from work. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody light bill due, you paying it. You feel what I'm saying? It's showing up for people as that ever-present guide, that ever-present support system, their ever-present get out of jail free card. You know what I'm saying? And the reason for that is because what you're truly desiring in your actions is that connection with another, but that's the wrong method to do so. So that would be why one is not getting what it is that they're seeking. You know what I'm saying? And the thing I find so fascinating about all of these soul sessions in June is, it's caused me to put my therapist hat on a lot, but I find it so fascinating because how I see this play out a lot of times is when people have reached a fever pitch, and it's like, I'm so much of a good person and I'm so nice to people and I help people so much and I sacrifice so much for other people. And what do? They just spit in my face, and the quality of how a person responds to us has absolutely nothing to do with how good of a person that we are. The thing we really need to be looking at is, if a person is doing all of this for a person, you have to take into account the person that you're doing it for. You also have to take into account what your true motivation is behind the action. And that's something that a lot of times we don't want to talk about, because we can write it off and say, I'm doing this from the kindness of my heart, like I'm so nice to them. But what it is I'm seeing in these cards is it's coming from a place of a deficit, right? And what it is, like I said, with the 8 of Cups in the reverse, it's speaking about avoidance. So it's like a maladaptive, like coping mechanism in a sense. It's like to go through would be vulnerability, right? But that is something that fucking terrifies majority of humanity, right? So we end up coming up with love substitutes, like I said, you know what I'm saying? 7 of Swords kind of behavior to be able to get the connection without the vulnerability. Codependency is one of those methods, right? Because I can be here for someone, I can enable someone, right? And I can get that connection that I seek, but that connection that you're getting in return pales in comparison to the real thing. And the real thing is what you desire. And trust me, a lot of people get mad at me when I say this, but I don't be caring because it's just the damn truth. You are never going to get authentic intimacy and a true authentic connection by doing 7 of Swords type of behaviors. What you skip will trip you up later, right? You can't cheat life. You can't cheat the system. The only way out is through. You have to go that middle path. If you don't follow that middle path, you're always going to get some great value brand of love, friendship, you know what I'm saying? Like family connections. All of it is going to be like cheap, no name brand type of connections, right? It's never going to be the true real thing. You feel what I'm saying? So with this 3 of Wands, why I said this 10 of Cups here and this 3 of Wands is so important is because, like I said in the beginning, this is being brought up for a reason. This says to me, with your outcome being the 3 of Wands coming into the latter part of June, Libra, you guys are on the cusp of a new beginning where everything it is that you desire can materialize for you. But it's all because it's just your season, it's your time, right? But it's all about how it is you choose to navigate forward. We have to keep in mind that like attracts like. If you're showing up in an energy, so even if we use like, you know, the sexual relationship thing, if you're showing up in that energy frequency, that is what you're going to draw in. You know, if you're looking for a person who wants, you know, a long-term, you know, romantic connection, but you're in the frequency of, you know, I don't want none of that, then that's exactly what you're going to magnetize to you. So in so many words, this is saying to embody the energy of the 10 of Cups and the 3 of Wands, you're focused on the future. You know what it is that you want, and you're seated in that. So that way this energy can pass through. And another thing I'll say with this too, the 8 of Cups, with it being in the position of what to look out for, that's giving you a heads up on what you have a tendency to do in situations such as this, right? And that's like falling back into old behaviors. Or something else I could say with this, if this King of Pentacles is representing a person, because I've seen this for other people as well, this could be a person from your past that ends up coming into your path, right? And acting almost like a is not is paradigm. So if you have, like, you listen to this reading and you have an epiphany and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to fool with that no more. I want to make a shift and I want to make a change. You now instantly enact the is not is paradigm, right? Which is the thing that I made up that talks about, it's a simple way to explain how manifestation happens, right? So pretty much whenever you call something into your life, the polar opposite of what it is that you're calling in has to manifest first to create a void for the thing that you called in, because the universe likes to fill voids. So when you're drawing in this new thing, opposite thing happens, right? And that's like a testament that the thing that you're calling in is actually on its way, right? So if this would be a person, this would be a person who is showing up as the personification of an is not, right? If you're wanting 10 of Cups, you're wanting security, stability, reciprocity, emotional fulfillment, right? A person who is 10 of Pentacles is what's going to show up, the antithesis to this. You feel what I'm saying? So, and this would look like a person who, you know, is everything that you would want on the outside, but on the inside, they're devoid of emotion, which would be a mirror reflection of the energy that you guys are showing up in. You feel what I'm saying? It's like you're behaving in a way that is contrary to what it is that you're actually desiring or feeling on the inside. So that's like a manifestation of the fractured self in so many words. And that's why a lot of times when we're trying to manifest stuff in, why we're getting fractured versions of stuff, like why we're getting someone that's perfect in every single way, but there's something that's absolutely horrible with them. We have to use those things. Well, I'm not going to say have to. It would behoove us to use those things as context clues and a reflection to our inner self, you know? And I often say that with emotional unavailability. If we constantly draw people to us that are emotionally unavailable, or a person has a history of dating emotionally unavailable people, there has to come a time when we stop and have to look at ourselves and see, in what ways could I possibly be emotionally unavailable? You feel what I'm saying? Now, there's two sides of one coin, and usually the way that things are going to show up as seeming opposites to each other, because there's no such thing as opposites, aka, you know, law of polarity and all the things. There's just two extremes of one thing, like male, female, human. They're on the same Likert scale, right? But they're two opposing sides of one thing. You feel what I'm saying? So it's so the same with emotional unavailability, right? So, and even if we put this in the context of vulnerability, That's really what the root fear would be of emotional unavailability. It's just one person that may manifest in the sense of like, an avoider, you know what I'm saying? That's like blatantly get away from me. I don't want no commitment type of thing. The other side of that would be a person who's codependent. Perfect example of this would be like the twin flame dynamic, the runner and the chaser. You feel what I'm saying? Those are two sides of one coin. Those are two people who are emotionally unavailable, because you have a person who's chasing behind emotional unavailability, right? Because this person symbolizes something for them. This person is the missing piece to their puzzle, seemingly, right? But to even be a chaser in the first place is a testament to one's own misunderstanding of what love, intimacy, vulnerability, or with any of those things are about, right? All of that's love substitutes. Like that's love substitute in action. That's literally what that's why I wrote the whole book about twin flames called Motherfuck Twin Flames. You know what I'm saying? But that's what all of that would be representative of. And that within itself is these two cards, literally a prison, and the Eight of Cups in the reverse, because it's a cycle that's continuously repeated, whether it's with the person or without them. Because the issue at hand isn't that humans suck or whatever. It's the fact that there's a truth about the self that one isn't recognizing, and one is projecting that onto others. It's other people are bad, other people are wrong, other people are screwed up or bad. And kind of, putting whipped cream on shit of our situations. It's like, no, I'm not perfect, but, I never did anything to them. And I would never do anything like that to them. And it's not really about you doing or not doing anything to anyone. It's about what energy are you sitting in and how is it that you're showing up? It's like, how can we find the Seven of Swords in ourselves? You know what I'm saying? How can we be honest with ourselves and see our Judas in the mirrors and which ways that we're shooting ourselves in the good foot, and what ways are we self-sabotaging, and what ways are we engaging in patterns and behaviors and, partner friend selection that hasn't really differentiated since, the beginning, like, and what ways are, we fraternizing with the same pig, but yet in a different coat. And that's a personal thing. You know what I mean? I'm trying not to go on a rant here, but just so much stuff that's coming to my mind, Libra. It's like, because y'all know I'm a narcissist specialist. This is something I see a lot in my work where, a lot of clients I have don't understand, like, how do I keep dating narcissists? And it's like, yeah, narcissists are sucky people. And there's a lot of them in humanity. But I mean, I don't want to say it's easy to identify, but it's possible to identify this person. But if we haven't recognized the pattern in ourselves that's drawn to these particular people, or we haven't recognized like the missing link within us that we're trying to fill through these connections with people such as this, then we're always going to be, susceptible to falling for people like this, because it's something that they're bringing to the table when you first meet them. And this is what kind of reminds me of Leo's reading, because I said the same thing to them. It's like, if you're feeling as if there's something that's lacking in you, then this person brings it to you, then you're going to think that's the person. You know what I mean? Like, you never go outside because you don't have anyone to go outside with. You meet a person who is always outside, then that person becomes your link to the outside world. But the truth is, you wanted to go outside. You were just afraid to go outside by yourself. You feel what I'm saying? So if that's never addressed, then you'll always fall victim for the okie doke. It's like constantly being in a constant state of thirst. The first person that comes along and offers you water, you're not going to be picky. You're just going to be glad and feel like this person is like a savior in a sense. So I feel that's what your reading is really saying. It's bringing to your conscious mind, right, what it is that's been happening underneath a pattern. And I can say for you guys, this shouldn't be hard to identify, because this feels to me like a pattern that you guys have been engaging in for some time. And like I said, your starter point, I really think y'all should watch Leo reading for real, even if y'all don't have it in your chart, because I'm thinking about their past influence was the Ace of Wands in the reverse. And I said to them the same thing I'm about to say to you. It's like you had like not necessarily like an aha, but there was something that transpired in May that kind of triggered all of this off. And it would be a perfect depiction of what it is that we've discussed here on today, right? It's like a very similar feeling that you felt in May that you have felt many times before. This wouldn't be something where it's like, I've never, felt this type of disappointment before, It's like this is something that you felt before. And this thing that you felt before is connected to a pattern that you have engaged in for an extended period. You know what I'm saying? But like I always tell you guys, whenever stuff like this comes up and it's like a pattern, I'm fully aware, like to get out of a pattern, it's not going to just be reading the book. It's not going to be just watching me. It's not going to be just doing a couple of little journal prompts. But I feel the role that I play here on YouTube when you guys, come across my channel or come back to my channel is literally giving you the little spark to get the fire started. You know what I mean? And what this is really about is just bringing it into your awareness. The work to, kind of get through these things or to work on these things, it's going to, take time. For most of the time, it's going to take therapy, child. I'm the tarot therapist. It's probably going to take therapy. You know what I'm saying? Tarot cards get you started, right? But it's probably going to take therapy, but that's okay, because the only thing that's really being asked of you this month is just to bring it into your awareness, for you to be aware of what it is that's happening, accept that that's what it is that's happening, and hopefully with this energy of the Three of Wands, taking a step in the direction of starting to rectify this particular thing. But anywho, Libra, that has been your soul session for the month of June. Most certainly let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as always, my Venetian brethren and sister, and I love your freaking face. And I will see you guys